Hello and welcome to another video review. My name is Astrofigures, and today we're finally taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes, the 13 Prima Prime. Now this is one of the first primes that was released with the Age of the Primes line, and we're finally taking a look at him. Up in the top left, you can see he transforms in 20 steps, and on the right here we have the cool kind of art that they have with the figure. The design for him is really cool. I like the blue highlights against the white. I think that pops really nicely. Bringing around to the back here, we can see a couple different product shots. You can see the Star Saber here with the Matrix of Leadership plugged into it, which looks awesome. You also see his chest open, and you got the Matrix there in the chest as well. And then for the vehicle here, you can transform it into kind of this van type vehicle, and it's heavily armored, so that's kind of cool. And I'm really excited to see this figure in hand. Without further ado, let's do that. Here we have Prima here in his robot mode, and I have to say he looks absolutely amazing. I've been playing around with him for a little bit here. There's a lot of articulation, and the playability with him is great. I've taken the liberty of adding the last Nemesis Prime shield to Prima here, because I think a shield with the sword combo is just so awesome, and I think it adds to him a little bit. Only match the color scheme a little bit better. That would be cool. Taking that off, you can see you can tab that in on one of the pegs there. There's that on both sides. Bring us in with some actual accessories this comes with. We have the Matrix of Leadership here in a nice silver color. It's all in silver, and then you have the blue of the Allspark there. That's really awesome. So you can either integrate that with the Star Saber on the front here. You can see there's a nice tab section for that. You just plug that straight in, and that will power up the Star Saber, so that's pretty cool. Taking a closer look, you can also see there is the sigil of Prima there on the hilt, which looks awesome. The blue translucent here looks amazing as well, and the silver highlights there look great. The only negative I have is the hilt here is in a kind of grayish color, which is also silver, just to kind of continue on. It does look a little weird when you're comparing kind of right next to each other. Besides that, really great accessories. You can also take the Matrix of Leadership and plug it right into his chest by just removing the cavity there and just opening that up. You can close that as well with it in there, so that is really awesome. As closer looking through some of the details, the blue highlights through the figure is so great to see. You also have this dark coloring scheme as well, just to break up some of the white, and the helmet here is in a slight silver kind of touch up, which looks really great. From far away without shining any reflection on it, it looks like the darker color. When you have reflection on there, but when there's reflection on it, you can see it's more silver. And the striking blue eyes through that mask is awesome as well. Looking to the back of the figure, the hollow spacing on the back of the leg is filled out by his vehicle mode, which is a great integration of that. The legs as well, you can see there's silver design on that as well on the sides, and there's no real hollow spacing, which looks great. Also, the back there is nothing crazy. You do have the top of the van, which I don't mind too much. I kind of think that is this is regular back. Nothing kind of poking out too much, which is nice to see. Running off the robot section, I'm going to give a 10 for Prima here. The overall clean design of him with the kind of color scheme that he has, with the kind of pure light, him being kind of the light bringer, I think is really awesome. You have the Matrix of Leadership that you can integrate within the figure, and the Star Saber as well is really cool and integrates well with the Matrix of Leadership, kind of powering it up. Moving straight into articulation, the head is on a ball joint. You can look left, right, up, and down. Over onto the arm section, the kind of shoulder blades can move up and out of the way to kind of to give way for the arm to move around. You have full 360, kind of swivel here at the elbow. The arm can go and bend just past 90, as well as a wrist articulation, and the fingers are also articulated so they can open all the way and close. Bring us down to the waist, you can move the skirt pieces out of the way, and you have a 360 waist articulation. You are a little restricted by the back, but it's not too crazy. Looking to the legs, you can kick out this far, forwards, and back. Kind of like this, the back section does kind of hinder the back of the leg. You can bend just past 90 for the knee. You can kick forward to the foot and rock side to side. So this guy is rocking in the articulation department. I'm going to give him a 10. A 10 for this section as well. Now running through some size comparisons. You can see Nemesis Prime here on the left. Also have Megatronus there on the left. Moving down to Voyager class, we have Thundercracker. And then towards Deluxe, we have Quintus and Alchemist here. You can see he's quite a bit taller. And then rounding out with Skydive as well. Alright, starting with transformation, what we're going to do is spin the arms the opposite way for both of them. Then we can split apart the forearm and bring it around to where we're then going to put the hand into the now cavity. Here we're going to split the back section away from the figure, so just kind of split that away as best you can. And then we're going to take the chest section and we're going to spin that around so that it's now facing towards the back. We're going to bring the wheels out and then bring the head section and bring that, collapse it in. With that done, we're going to bring the arms and we're going to swing those up. And then we're going to collapse that down to where, bring that forward. We're going to take the hands here and we're going to swing those down and line up so this gray pieces are facing up, these tabs here. And then there's a tab here that's going to slot in onto the sections on the bottom. I'm just going to slide those in and they should click. There's a little finish to get in there. You're just going to slide that in. So do that with the other side and slide that one in. And then bring the top section here. So there's two slots that are going to tab into the gray pieces there. That's just going to go over and then tab in. You might untap your other sections. It's definitely not my favorite part of the transformation. You're just going to tab that in as best you can. So with that tabbed in, the front section is now complete. We move on to the back of the legs here. So the wheels, we're just going to take and we're going to bring those out and kind of hinge them up. There's a couple different hinges. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Do that with the other side, just bring it out. Kind of mess around with the hinges to really get about to there. We're going to bring the foot and collapse that in. There's a tab that'll slot into where the wheels were. And then we can connect the two legs together. With that done, we can bring the feet and we can take the knees joint and just bring that in so that it collapses. I'm going to take the feet and bring it under the kind of hood piece there. So just kind of manipulate the leg to go under. Once that's done, the tab here is going to slot into the kind of wrist right there on both sides. So just kind of bring that in and have those rest into that. With that done, we can then take the wheels. We can either have the wheels kind of down like so, or you can bring the wheels out to the side with all of them out. And it's kind of like in a hover kind of mode there. So two different options for the transformation, which I think is pretty cool. So to round out for transformation, definitely not my favorite. A lot of finicky pieces, especially this kind of front section, messing around with the arms and kind of connecting that into the top section, and just kind of the integration of putting the legs in, you kind of tab everything out, putting the bumper section into these gray pieces is kind of annoying, and it untabs from the top section there with the arms. So overall, a very awesome kind of figure that transforms not greatly, but it still does its job. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Now, looking at the weapon integration into the vehicle mode, we can either put it into the front section here, where he kind of has this like battling ram with the Star Saber running around or driving around like that, which is interesting. But we can then also take the Star Saber apart, take the hilt here, and then plug it into the wheel section here. There's a cavity that you can just plug that in, and then it'll just rest like that. Not the greatest, especially when you're looking from the back as well, kind of just poking out. And then we can take the actual blade piece and stick it. There is a kind of peg here that'll slot in, so you just kind of bring that down and peg that in. So it has this blade look. I like the blade, I like the look that brings to the vehicle mode, but definitely not the hilt section. I find that doesn't look the greatest. So now looking at the vehicle here, it's kind of like an armored tank or armored van kind of deal. I like this kind of style. It's definitely very Cybertronian. You have these kind of two side bumpers there. The wheels are nice, especially the integration where you can kind of have it to where it's hovering. It's cool. Bring us to the back section, it does not look great. I do like the kind of indentation that these are kind of thrusters or boosters, but looking down the kind of the back section, you can kind of see it's just this hollow spacing. It doesn't look the greatest. The silver here against the side of the body looks great against the white, and the blue here, kind of translucent see-through into the chest of him, looks great as well. And if you integrate the sword kind of saber part, it doesn't look too bad and adds a little bit to the design. Overall, I think it's passable. Definitely not a vehicle mode I'll be displaying, but as a kind of side throw-in for Prima here, I think it suits just fine. We're going to give it a 7 out of 10. Bringing us to the value section of Prima here, we're going to give him a 9 out of 10. This is a very strong introduction with the Age of the Primes Prime line that they have. The Solus Prime and Prima Prime came out at the same time, with her being a deluxe and him being a Voyager. I think for the kind of introduction to the Primes, I think this is a great way to kind of start that off. Very, very strong robot mode. The vehicle mode, while it kind of does what it needs to, is not as great, and the transformation is a little kind of crappy. But the robot mode definitely is the icing on the cake for this figure, for sure. He is such a cool design. I love the blue highlights through him. The Star Saber also is really cool and adds a lot to him with the Matrix of Leadership that he can integrate with that. And overall is a great introduction for the Prime. Now bring us to the final score of 44 out of 50 for Prima here. Very respectable score, a great figure overall. Now if you did make it this far in the video and are interested in looking at another Prime that I've reviewed, you can look at the Megatronus here, which will pop up on screen. Another great introduction to kind of the leader class. I think looking back, I think they all came together with the Voyager leader and Deluxe with Megatronus, Prima, and Solus, which are all great Primes. Probably look at Solus here in the near future, just kind of round that out. I want to kind of get them all